And we're back with another video. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fluffy Girl TV, where we talk about real fat girl shit from a real fat girl's perspective. I'm your girl, Ebbi Nicole, and today I want us to dial it back a bit and talk about something that's super duper important and actually affects a lot of people. And what is that? That's food addiction. Y'all may have heard me mention in a previous video when I talked to y'all about my VSG surgery, that's vertical sleeve gastrectomy, that I had in May, where it removes 80% of your stomach, curbs your appetite, helps speed up your metabolism, and in turn you do see weight loss and things of that nature. So I had that surgery in May. So you may have heard me mention my food addiction. And so I just wanted to, and as always, y'all, I write my shit down because I want to make sure that I hit all the things and that I'm letting y'all know all the good shit. Okay? So food addiction is still a very controversial topic. You have people on both sides of the map with this. You have people saying like it's a mental disorder, and then you have some people saying, nah, your ass just greedy. Put down the food, you can control it, it's just on you. Well, the thing with food addiction is, although it's not in that guide that all the health professionals look at and are able to diagnose mental health, mental disorders, it has a lot of things in common with substance abuse and substance addiction. And so I wanted to do this video because I feel like more of us need to understand what food addiction is, and then we need to be taking a real good look at ourselves in the mirror to see if it's something that we are battling with. And I also want to say that food addiction, y'all, is a symptom of a larger situation, a larger issue. Sometimes it's unresolved trauma. For a lot of us, honestly, it's unresolved trauma. Sometimes it may be just brought on by different things that have happened in your life, to you, in front of you, by you, whatever have you. Just like anxiety. Your ass not just anxious to be anxious. It's always something else. Depression, it's always something else underlying those things. I think for me, like it is for a lot of people, it is a combination of a lot of things. So I lost my mother when I was 15 years old to drug addiction, actually. She died of a drug overdose of crack cocaine. So that's when I was 15 years old, right? In between the time of me being 15 and 18, I had gone to 3 high schools and I went off to college, right? So it was an interesting time for me because I don't think I ever truly processed what the hell was really going on with me, or the emotions that I was having. I just know that I got into college, I started drinking heavy, but I was determined not to develop an addiction. I was determined because I was like, that is the last effing thing. And of course, when you see things that aren't drugs, so it's not crack, it's not heroin, it's not opioids, it's not lean, these are not drugs. I think we discount food and alcohol as a drug, just like gambling is a drug, just like sex, excessive sex is a drug. We discount those things. So I got to college and I was like, definitely not getting into drugs, not gonna happen over here. But I got into alcohol really heavy, and that was one of the beginning pillars to just like the spiral, right? So of course I graduated college and I was like, nah, we can't do this like that. And for me, I'm like, I'm a social drinker. I ain't hurting nobody. Like, I'm just out here living my best life and having a good time. But then I started to realize, like, yo, you're waking up in random places. You were partying last night. You don't remember the party. Your ass might drink too much. So the person I was dating at the time was like, yeah, you do. And so I cut back. So alcohol, it's like, okay, yeah, like now I still drink, but it's definitely not in the same way. And actually having that surgery had a bit to do with that. My stomach can't process sugar the way it used to. So too much alcohol actually makes me nauseous, especially since I'm not drinking shit straight. Like, I'm a bourbon, whiskey, cognac girl. That alone already has a lot of sugar in it, that's those particular alcohols. But then I like ginger beer with it, which is all kinds of sugar. So like I mix that. And so for me, it's like, okay, we left college. We got to the point where, all right, Eb, you know there's some changes that need to be made. We're going to cut down on this alcohol, be an actual social drinker once there, a few drinks every now and then. And now with this surgery, for me, it's even less, right? But I want to say probably about a year and a half ago, I don't know what flipped in my mind, but food just became the ultimate bae. Just like the ultimate comfort. Like, I was eating when I was sad, when I was mad, when I was frustrated, when I'm stressed, when I'm anxious, when I'm happy, when I'm going out with the girls and we kicking it, when I'm out with bae and we just having a good time on date night. Food became that ish. And I can't even recall when it flipped for me. But I would almost beg to say it happened when I fell into a bout of depression. Like, okay. And I was still that friend that was still trying to make sure that everybody else was okay. Make sure that my sadness didn't make you uncomfortable. And so I was eating. It's like, girl, let's go have a happy hour. I'm getting a drink, but I'm also getting, these nachos. And to be clear, y'all, I wasn't just eating. It was more so like I would only eat 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, but it'd be large meals a day. And it would be all of it. Like, damn, what you talking about with some leftovers? No, sis, I'm eating all of this. And it's starting to get to the point for me where I was like, I'm already full, but I'm thinking about my next meal. And it took me back to a time in college where when I was getting myself off the alcohol situation, and then I started doing something crazy, which is staying in the dining halls and waiting on them to transition over to food. So I don't know where y'all went to school, but I went to school at Mizzou, Mizzou, here in Missouri. And we had the privilege of having all of the good dining halls, honey. But they're on schedules. So like any other restaurant, you have breakfast from some hour to some hour. And then they may close for a while and then transition over to dinner or lunch and dinner. And so it was the same thing on our campus. So I would go for lunch and they would close down the dining hall for about an hour and a half and prep for dinner. And I would stay there like I'm still eating and wait on their ass to transition to the next meal. And I would text like my really good friend and be like, yo, they got strawberry cheesecake ice cream, sis. They got such and such. Like, meet me here. And that means I would literally be in the dining hall for 6 hours, which is a whole day for some people, right? Whole work day for some people. And so flash forward, it started to ring in my mind like, yo, it's the same kind of behavior, just that dependency on food. And anybody knows college is freaking stressful. So I went from drinking to eating. And after I graduated college, from the time I graduated college to about a year and a half ago, I had gained 100 pounds. I graduated from school in 2012. So let's just say by 2018, I was a whole 100 pounds heavier. Now, y'all know me. I'm your favorite fluffy girl, okay? Here with Fluffy Girl TV, and I'm all about empowering the fluff. But I want y'all to realize when something is not right with you. I gained 100 pounds, and this was more than your freshman 15, hell, more than your freshman 40. And my relationship with food just grew and grew and grew. And I knew that I was in trouble probably a year ago because it just kept getting worse. And as the weight kept piling on, I felt myself and my spirit sinking within myself. I was hiding the person I was becoming. It was hard for me to laugh as much as I wanted to. It was hard for me to dance the way I wanted to. It was hard for me to be genuinely happy. And that's when I was like, something's not right. So I did some research for y'all because I like to back up what the hell I'm talking about. So according to Healthline, an online health platform, there are several symptoms that could be possible to food addictions, but here are 8 of them. Okay. So when you're getting cravings despite feeling full, I experienced that like crazy. Like I told y'all, I would be in the freaking cafeteria waiting on the next, eating much more than intended. So you know how so in college, like we had buffets. All our issue was buffets. We had a couple made to order places, but most of it was buffets. So you might tell yourself, oh, I know I'm gonna have my salad. I know I'm gonna have my main plate and I'm gonna have some dessert. But if you sitting up here still snacking around some shit, eating much more than you had in your mind, okay, they're saying that that's a symptom. Eating until you're feeling excessively full. So what's interesting about this, like I told y'all, I had the VSG surgery May 2019. And for the first week, I didn't want to look at a food, okay? Because my stomach hurt so bad. My insides were still adjusting. And when I was taking in stuff, it was only baby ass portions. And that was very frustrating to me to see a full amount on a plate and only be able to take in this much. This is extremely dangerous at this point because they've taken 80% of my stomach, but my eyes are still so wide open. So now I'm like 8 months out. My stomach is basically healed, but it's still small. So my stomach is still little. And yes, so when I'm looking at food, I'm excited about it. And I see a plate and I'm like, woo, I'm finna get to the shit. I'm about to get excited. But my body physically can't handle that anymore, right? So want to keep that in mind. If you're eating until you're feeling excessively full, it's an issue, okay? And then when you're feeling guilty after you've eaten like that, but then you do it again soon, okay? I think that speaks for itself. You're like, oh my goodness, I know that I shouldn't have had all that damn bread and that pasta and that rice. Ooh, but it was so good, but I know I shouldn't have had it. And now I feel like absolute shit. 15 minutes later, what you eat? You and somebody else plate. What you eat? What you got going? What's that? I want some. Can I just taste it? Get your tasting ass on. Like for real. Be aware of what you are going through. Be aware of those times that you're feeling compelled to eat like that, right? Oh, this one is golden, y'all. Making up excuses for your eating habits. So my girlfriend and I, we have this issue all the time with me. I'll be like, well, I can have that because I haven't had that since yesterday. Or I can have that because, and she's always like, okay, got it. So you're going to make this okay for yourself, but you know your body doesn't respond well to that? Huh. Imagine that. So you're going to make excuses for it? Okay. And so when you're making up excuses and you're trying to hide what the hell is really going on, it's a red flag. When you repeated failures at setting rules for yourself. So you do this whole, I'm not going to have bread, none today. And then your ass end up eating half the loaf. You done had a sandwich, your ass done had a biscuit, you done had a croissant. And because it's in different forms, you don't count it. Because it ain't bread. It ain't slices of bread. I only had 2 slices of bread. But I can have this biscuit, this croissant. I can have this damn baguette. You're making reasons to be able to have these things, right? Okay. Hiding eating from others. Y'all, I used to do this so much. So I lived with my family for 3 years. I lived with my family for 3 years. Probably about 6 or 7 months ago at this point. But I used to park and sit in my car and I would go get something fast food. I don't know if it's White Castle, if it's Wendy's, child, one of the chains, okay? And I would sit there, eat my food in the car. I would never go in the house. I would never, I don't know what that was about, but for me, I was like, I need to have something to myself, because I had moved back in with my family, and I really wanted to still have my own space. And so I would use that space in my car to just sit there and just shovel food into my mouth. Like I would get through it so fast and I would be lightheaded. And I'm sure my damn blood pressure was up because it's full of salt. Fast food is full of salt, as y'all know. And it would just be a bad situation. But I felt like that was the only time in the day that I had some alone time and I had some space to myself. And so I would just eat, I would hide my bags. I would throw it away before I even went in the house. And so my granny is like, hey, did you eat? I'm feeling the need to be like, yeah, I ate something on the way home. Like feeling the need to lie. Like, why do you need to lie about that? Did you eat or not? You know what I'm saying? But it was a big deal for me, y'all. It was a bit much. And so, I want y'all to keep that in mind. Unable to quit despite physical problems. So yeah, I just mentioned this to y'all. Like I had VSG surgery. My stomach is 80% less than what it was when they cut it off. And, I still want to eat a full plate of food. I still want to eat both of my sides and my meat. And I literally have to make myself not. When I'm out with my friends now I have to cover up my plate with my napkin. And I have to hurry up and ask for a to-go box. Because it has to be out of my face. I can't. It's not a problem with me watching other people eat as much, especially if I'm already full. It's enough of me just feeling like I need to finish this. And a lot of us were raised like that, right? You don't waste food. You finish your food. You don't eat nothing else till you eat what the hell's on your plate. It's the same thing for me. So yes, that's the thing. And so I can't tell you the symptoms without telling you ways to combat it, because I feel like we need to be in this. Write down things that you know damn well that every time you're around them, you're going to want them. Write those down. Write those down. Put them in your phone. Note them. Jot them. Something. But get them out your brain, because it helps to be able to see those and remember those things. Okay. Fast food places. The world is moving fast. You're going to go to a fast food place. I'm not the one to tell you not to do it. But what I will say is take note of the healthier options at those favorite places. So a lot of places are incorporating salads now. A lot of places are incorporating grilled chicken just like they have fried chicken. It still may be salt, but grilled is better than fried, and we know that to be true, right? A lot of places are saying, okay, you don't want fries, but we do have a fruit cup. Like, be mindful of different restaurants, fast food places that have healthier options, right? That was number 2. Number 3, what to eat. Okay, so think about healthier things that you actually do like and start implementing more of those. So I know for me personally, I'm not a kale, rutabaga, beet, carrot eater, but I do like broccoli, and I do like salad, and I do like green beans, and so more so the frozen string beans to saute them and stuff. But I know I like those things, so I want to incorporate more of those. My body responds better to green things. Your body might as well, but if your body doesn't, but you're a person that know that you like hummus instead of mashed potatoes, or different things that you feel like, I already like that. I actually already eat that. I wouldn't be mad if I had to eat more of it. Like, start thinking those things through, right? And number 4, consider making a list of what eating certain things can do to your body, like a pros and cons list. I know it sounds corny. It sounds cheesy beyond reasoning, but it may actually be helpful. And then put that list in several different places. So if you want to put it in your refrigerator, and in your car, on your phone, in your cubicle, at your desk, like, have that pros and cons list. So an example of that would be eating bread. What's a pro of me not eating bread? I might have more energy. I might not be sluggish. I might be able to pump out more videos for y'all. So that was several pros, right? A con might be, I might have to explain this to my partner on why I'm sitting over here feeling like trash. And it's because I ate bread, and bread expands in this little bitty ass stomach. And I know it makes me feel like crap, but I wanted to have it anyway. So a con is me having to explain my food choices, or feeling like I have to explain my food choices. Me feeling like crap. Make that pros and cons list, y'all, and really see like what eating certain foods and what certain behaviors can do for you in the short run and in the long run. It may actually be helpful. So I say all this to say, food addiction is real. It is not in the medical journal of whatever the hell as a mental condition or disorder, but it is real. And it does mirror a lot of addictions that do actually exist in that medical journal. I encourage you to be more self-aware. I encourage you to self-reflect on your relationship with food. And I encourage you to push yourself out of that comfort zone and decide what works for you. What gets you more energy? What keeps you on this earth longer? What is your body rejecting every single time that you eat it, but you still force yourself to? And then think back on why. What are you feeling? Are you trying to fulfill for yourself? What are you trying to do here, really? So yeah, y'all, I know it's a bit of a heavy topic, but it's real. And I want us to be real with ourselves because, of course, as you know, on Fluffy Girl TV, we talk about real fat girl shit from a real fat girl's perspective. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and I want to encourage you, y'all, subscribe because we have real ass conversations. Subscribe, comment, and hit that bell. That little bell that gives you notifications about when we post videos, so that you're in the know and that you're not the last to know. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's been your favorite fluffy girl, Ebbi Nicole, y'all. Peace, love, light, subscribe. Mwah.